is the time. We all started at the same level. So that means in 5 years, whoever put more effort in these 5 years will win. And whoever's here still worried about AI taking their jobs, they already lost.
Meta is trying to poach, and they have poached OpenAI employees $100 million bonuses for one person as a salary.
We're not just going to talk about tech or AI. What I want us to talk about is global power, reclaiming it. What will shape the next decade or decades? Why the Muslims should be the ones that are leading in this movement and not just following and consuming.
Yo, we can actually make a change in the world. Like, easiest war. How can I make something today to protect their ideologies and their deen?
In my DMs, people are very confused what to do. They worry that AI will take their jobs. Their kids are being taught LGBTQ nonsense in schools. They want to move out the West. They worry about a lot of things and they just want the right tools and knowledge.
Some people will lose their jobs, but guess what? AI will create more jobs that those people don't even know today. And they will do those jobs.
Everything around you was built by people who are not better than you. This microphone, this phone, everything. They're not people who are better than you. The difference is that they had a vision, they had a mission, they had the goals, and they executed. They sacrificed. They were obsessed. What scares you the most about where tech is heading?
What scares me the most, to be honest, is...
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abu Abdullah here. Before we get into the podcast, I'd like to welcome you to the Madinah Project, a podcast dedicated to empowering Muslims with financial independence, locational freedom, and a legacy of righteousness bi-idhnillah azza wa jal. We're here to help and inspire Muslims like you to break into tech, real estate, and entrepreneurship, to build businesses that serve the Ummah. On this podcast, we highlight Muslim entrepreneurs and their businesses, share with you game-changing insights, and give you the tools to transform your life so you can better serve Allah and your community. If you're ready to take that step with us, all I ask of you is to subscribe to the Madinah Project, share to spread the khair, and join us on this journey where we're building stronger Muslim communities, one project at a time. All right, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Ikhwan, marhaba, ahlan wa sahlan. I'm happy to see these beautiful faces. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Short notice, but such an important topic that I wanted us to have a conversation about today. And bi-idhnillah azza wa jal, I know we're all ready for it. Walillah alhamd. So without any further ado, I'm going to first and foremost let all of you introduce yourselves, right? One by one, we can keep it brief, right? I guess name, what you do, just give us any basic information you want for the viewers who have not met you yet, who, do not know you so they can get to know you. So I will start right here, Ummah, right? So Muhammad, and for the brothers who do not know you and the sisters, I guess, who will watch, who is Muhammad Low?
Barakallah feekum. So, my name is Muhammad Low. I'm one of the co-founders of Coding for Hijrah, a program we started to teach Muslims how to code, Alhamdulillah, we've been working in, entrepreneurship and building products for a while now, with a couple of different companies we have, Alhamdulillah. And Coding for Hijrah is our latest adventure. We're taking on to actually help the Muslims, make, take steps into tech, because it's a major field, but we don't have a big role in it, and we want to change that, inshallah ta'ala. So I hope we can do better.
Where are you from, by the way?
Originally Senegal.
Senegal in the house.
Senegal.
Barakallah feek. All right, next we'll go to our brother Shu'aib.
Assalamu alaikum, my name's Shu'aib. I also help people get into tech, but also on the freelancing side, help make their income online, make an extra 5-7K a month with copywriting and also any back-end marketing. And on the back of that, I'm an edtech founder as well, fairly recent edtech founder, and also dabble in social media.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
And where are you representing besides where you coming from originally?
Oh, Somalia originally, born in the Netherlands, raised in the UK.
Allah barak. Mashallah.
Mashallah.
All right, next.
My name is Muhammad Mumudu Sal. Muhammad al-Andalusi.
You have probably never heard this one before.
I go by Muhammad Andalusi, and I am the founder of AndalusInstitute.com, started in 2019. It's an online Arabic institution where we teach the Arabic language to mostly English-speaking countries. And yeah, I guess what brought me here is just my passion for tech. Really, I couldn't say I'm in the field, but I'm here to learn from you guys.
Allah barak. Mashallah. Actually, your I guess your journey and your story is a little fascinating for me. It's interesting because people know you to be the Arabic teacher, the Arabic guy, right? Allahumma barak, which is it's really good. But I think what a lot of people may not know is that at the core, you're a techie, you're an entrepreneur. I mean, which I know you've been, again, I know you've been doing a lot of content on that, but you're ambitious about teaching Arabic, walillah alhamd, but at the core, you're an entrepreneur, you're a marketer, you're a tech, you're a techie, put it that way, which is super interesting, right? A lot of people don't understand that. They just think maybe you're just sitting behind, somewhere just with an Arabic book and just teaching, alif, ba, ta, fa, and hada, baytun, but it's more than that and more. Right? And I want to come to that, inshallah, okay? So just as a quick intro, right? So today, we're not just going to talk about tech or AI, right? What I want us to talk about is about power, okay? When I say power, I'm talking about global power and what that entails, okay? And about reclaiming it, okay? And I want to talk about what will shape the next decade or decades, right? Again, we've seen what's happening in tech, especially in the last few years. It's been crazy, right? Walillah alhamd. But also I want us to talk about why the Muslims should be the ones that are leading in this field, in this sector, and in this movement, right? And not just following and consuming, which is what's been happening a lot, right? So to start off, I guess, I want to know, and I'm going to start with Muhammad Andalus, actually. If you can tell me in, I guess, a couple lines, what drives you to wake up every morning and stay up after Fajr and build?
To be honest, man, first of all, I need it. And I have a big family, a lot of kids. That's one thing. But on a bigger scale, I do believe that tech, it cannot only be restricted to entrepreneurship and making money, because the reality is it goes further than that. Like, I remember when drones came out, DJ Mavic came out with drones and stuff. The reality is drones being around and the army were just gatekeeping it. And it's a crazy weapon when it comes to warfare. And warfare obviously has been, the core protector of civilizations and societies and things like that. So, things like that was only able to be created, like drones, based on technology. So I believe that that you should never stop learning. And the more this month I'm gonna be 32 at the end of this month, and I feel I'm aging quickly, where I'm starting to. Just last night I was like, I need to watch this documentary about Elon Musk against Trump. What's going on between them? These are things that 5 years ago I wouldn't care at all. But now I realize how, okay, I'm just an Arabic teacher, but how can I actually impact people to like, if I teach Arabic to somebody and this person learns Arabic and then he becomes independently intellectual, where he can teach himself and know what knowledge to attain, which then raises his iman, which allows him to be able to not be, controlled by the masses and social media and the propaganda that all this social media is sending to them. And the more people I'm able to teach Arabic and get to that level, the more the Muslims are strong, and the more we are able to just protect the Ummah. Because at the end of the day, all of these wars that we have and all of these attacks against the Muslim countries and so on, it's only because the Muslims, they don't have knowledge. And if they had knowledge, they would be more independent intellectually. Right? I like when Muhammad Hijab says, "You've been intellectually molested." That's literally what it is. So if you are able to have more Muslims that are knowledgeable, or at least aware of who to go to when you need the knowledge, then that makes you intellectually strong. And that's one of the reasons why when colonizers, they will go into a country, like for example the war in Algeria and the French coming into Algeria, the first thing they would do is make them like forbid them to speak Arabic, because Arabic was the main key to the books and learning and in being academically adept to understand things. And once you're academically adept, you understand the world at large. And so, I could say, well, I got to pay bills. But in reality, what keeps me going is, we can actually make a change in the world. Like this is war. The same thing they are trying to do to gain power, keep power and so on. And by them doing that, these big shots, by them doing that, they are actually harming my brothers and sisters in my community. How many children I'm going to have as a descendants?
Yeah.
How can I make something today to protect their ideologies and their deen in the next generations to come? So obviously it's deeper than just getting up and teaching Arif Batata,
But again, we know the importance of that. Alhamdulillah. We're not down, we will never try to downplay that by any means. That's the foundation of knowledge. That's the foundation of guidance. Walillah alhamd. Jazakallah khair for sharing that. Shu'aib, I'll restrict it to one line. It can be a long line, like Muhammad Andalusi's, but make it one line. Tell me, or tell us and the audience, what gets you excited to stay up after Fajr and build?
Like Muhammad said, there's two sides of it. So yes, it's paying the bills. There's a monetary side of it, which you can say for every industry, every job, everything, right? The other side of it is, like I said, we're in a war, we're in a battle, and it's more of an intellectual battle. It's more of a unseen, attention-driven battle that we're seeing. And I see all the time, like in my DMs, people are very confused what to do. They're worried that, AI will take their roles or their jobs, their industries. They're worried, their kids are being taught LGBTQ nonsense in schools. They want to move out the West. They're worried about a lot of things and they just want the right tools and knowledge, right? So it's knowledge and also finding the right ways to apply it. So I've been very vocal with my, let's say, mental war on TikTok. One of my most viral tweets was literally just about, I made a whole research threads with studies and everything about the relationship between short form media and attention span, right? And this is back in 2022. And we're seeing that a lot, right? If you send someone a YouTube video that's gonna, benefit them as khair, bro, this is too long. You're not gonna watch it. They just can't, And so they'd rather feed off the attention of whatever is easiest, right? So there's no barrier anymore. There's no like doing the hard thing, especially for men, which we can talk about a lot more. So I want to keep this short. There's that side. I really want to fight that battle, and like the battle for attention, the battle for like, where you really put your attention, and matching that with your goals, with your akhirah, with your family. So yeah, that's my bigger picture, and that's what wakes me up in the morning as well. If we're talking about really bigger vision, which I haven't really spoken about, but otherwise it's just continue on year by year and growing, inshallah.
Amazing. Jazakallah khairan. I mean, what I'm getting is that this is, there's obviously this aspect of oneself, right? One's family, the responsibilities.
Yeah.
But all of us, walillah alhamd, have a shared goal or passion for that which is bigger than ourselves at the end of the day, right? We're part of a community, right? And a huge community at that needs so much, that is so behind in so many ways, right? Okay, so Muhammad, what keeps you up after Fajr? I know he stays up after Fajr and he's building, so what is it that keeps you up?
Alhamdulillah. So yeah, I mean, similar to the brothers, wallahi, having worked with you for a long time, you know this already, right? One of my main goals in life truly is to help the Muslims advance technologically, right? This is like, I've been dreaming about this for a long time because I believe technology definitely can can help make a big change in the Muslim world, basically, right? Everything from, we don't have anything. We rely on the West for everything we have, everything from building data centers to everything, right? So that means even our governments are using data centers that belong to the West, meaning they have access to our information and all of these things, right? Why are we not able to do that ourselves, right? The tech is there, it's available. Like YouTube alone is I call YouTube the biggest university in the world.
The biggest free,
right? Without a doubt,
exactly.
So I truly believe the accessibility is there. It's a matter of motivating the Muslims and making them see the benefits of getting into tech and what we can achieve together, as a community, using technology. So this is one of my hopefully life goals that I can see come to fruition bi'idhnillah ta'ala before I get out of here. Bi'idhnillah.
Barakallah feek. Jazakallah khair. Alhamdulillah, I mean, with the program, you're somewhat doing that, walillah alhamd.
Alhamdulillah.
But obviously the goals are bigger.
Are way
right?
bigger than that, yes.
They're bigger than that.
Absolutely.
But we got to start somewhere. And we should
Yes.
none of us should downplay what we've done and what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Right? Because growth is not linear, right? Like, you may be at something for a long time and you don't see, you think, there's no ROI, and then eventually you get to see it, right? So if you know that that's the right thing to do, then you keep at it, right? So let's talk about tech and AI real quick, which is, I guess now it's the wild frontier, right? This is like all the hype is about tech, and it's not just a hype, right? This is not like NFTs or even, let's say, blockchain, right? Not to downplay some of those technologies, but AI is it's possibly greater than the invention of the internet in terms of its importance, right? Of course, AI probably wouldn't be here without the internet, but you get what I'm saying, right? In terms of the advancement and the value that it brings. So on that note, I'll start where I finished here now, okay? And I ask different questions if you don't mind. What would you say is one thing that I guess one thing about AI that most people, not just Muslims, that most people are completely blind to right now, that they're not seeing?
Wow. That's a big one. I mean, the main thing is that a lot of people, again, like the brother said earlier, they're worried about, AI, taking over and basically, losing their jobs over this and all that. But I believe people are looking at it the wrong way when you think about it like that, right? Because the benefits AI brings are way bigger than anything it can replace, without a doubt. And that means it's going to create industries that we can't even think about right now. And it's going to streamline what we already have today, So I feel like, there's a lot of, I guess, places you could apply AI into, in the workplace and in different places, in agriculture, in so many different places that can take it to the next level, So I feel like people should have I guess a better understanding of what AI itself is, right? Bigger than just ChatGPT and, some simple prompting, right? Because,
what is that? What is that bigger picture of what AI is? What is that? Because a lot of people, I know for a fact, most people do not understand what AI is.
Absolutely. Most people understand just the basics of, write me an essay of this or that, these basics,
that's
right?
Not AI.
That is not AI. That's
you leveraging AI
exactly,
to do something for you. But, what, that understanding what AI is, what is that?
Now, AI, like we were talking about a couple of weeks ago with our brother Abu Aisha, right? Was talking about how they were able to find what was the term in the medical field? Yeah, right. Being able to find being able to find millions of and millions
2 million proteins.
2 million proteins in like a matter of 2 years than they have found in the last 60 years or something
versus
like that.
Versus maybe about 60,000.
Something like that. Right, under 100,000 without a doubt.
About 200,000. No, 200,000 in 60 years.
Or 60 years, right? So in 60 years they were able to find 200,000 proteins. But in 2 years they found 2 million because of AI. That's the impact AI can have. And that's just one industry. That's just one example, right? You take that to different industries, we beyond write me an essay. We're talking about automating, industries, whole industries. Right. Like you see another company, I think John Deere, right, in agriculture. They're talking about automating all their machines, so they don't even need drivers anymore. They don't even need, some people, to do the farming, exactly, right? Some people will lose their jobs, but guess what? AI will create more jobs that those people don't even know today. Right. You understand? And they will do those jobs, so.
And then how do they, so for those who lose their jobs in that sense,
right,
right? Because that's what people fear.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, if you see something is coming, why not ride the wave and be part of the people who
How
will
do you
actually
do that?
take advantage? You start learning now, like everybody else. This is new to all of us. AI itself is not new. It's been here since the 60s, 70s, or whatever. Right? But the ChatGPT took it to the next level.
So,
ChatGPT made it, mainstream.
Yeah.
You know, so but this is the time we all started at the same level now. Right. So that means in 5 years, whoever put more effort in these 5 years will win. That's it. That's all it is. And whoever's here still, worried about AI taking their jobs, they already lost.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
100%.
Absolutely, man. Jazakallah khairan.
No, Jazak.
Shuaib, in your eyes, what is the biggest opportunity in tech that you see right now that's wide open? And again, most people are not paying attention to.
Even the last 2 months, there's been major advancements with the big players. They're swapping intellectual property. They're swapping employees. Meta's trying to poach, and they have poached OpenAI employees. $100 million bonuses for one person.
Yep.
As a salary. Or it's a bonus, actually, right? And most people aren't privy to that, right? So I think
what kind of employees are these? Because this is interesting to me.
So these are obviously big guys. These are AI LLM researchers. So these are like OpenAI who are behind ChatGPT.
We're talking about engineers.
We're talking about the researchers and engineers. I think they're mostly like the guys who build the core infrastructure who've been doing this for years, because OpenAI has been around for a very, very long time. Early 2021, 2022, they've really started to, release these models. But now they're releasing a new model like every 2-3 weeks or every month, right? And then we've got the competitors. We've got Anthropic, we've got DeepSeek, we've got Gemini, we've got all these guys who really are doing the same thing, but it's all about application layer. So if you can find the right one that fits it's like operating system. So it's like soon it's going to be like either Windows, Mac, Linux, or other ones, right? That's what we're seeing now. And this opportunity now, it's akin to Bitcoin in 2012, 2013. If you got it back then, when it was a few dollars, and now it's over $105,000, right? So that's how I see it. If you miss out, then that's why these seasoned investors their mouths are watering at this point. Like they're throwing money at 17, 18-year-olds who hack together something, can articulate themselves well, put it on social media, bring their attention and their tech together. It's huge. I'm not saying everyone should build something. Like, you can go ahead and build something for yourself and be an entrepreneur, but at the same time, is even if you leverage a few of these core skills and the recent models for your own roles, then you can probably cut down your workday by like 20 hours.
Can you give an example of that?
So there was a guy who reached out to me. He's a data analyst, and he saw my content for a while, and he tried to apply it, looked at redoing an AI course, but he just messed around with, I think it was OpenAI and one of the MCPs was using, like Google Calendar and a few other MCPs. MCPs is Model Context Protocol. It's like USB-C to connect LLM to any application, right? Google Calendar. So
it's like an API for the
exactly, yeah. It's an API layer. So it's still, again, it's really new, but people just don't know about it. So anyway, he said, bro, I managed to cut my work down so much that my boss is like, how are you doing all this much work? The only thing is he's giving him more work to do now because he realized how efficient he is. So I'm thinking, bro, imagine if you kind of like, I think he's in London. If you just cut your work day by like work week by 10, 15 hours and replace those hours with, I don't know, doing anything like Arabic, learning the deen, trying to look for clients, because you only need one or two clients as a data analyst to quit your role, unless he's contracting. So there's a lot we can do. Even me, like other week, I built an NSN agent as a personal assistant. And every morning 9 a.m. he texts me or even calls me if I connected to Twilio, all of my calendar events. So who I have a meeting with, what time, where it is, and if I want the client.
You use N8N for this?
N8N, yeah.
And you plugged it with Twilio?
I plugged it with Twilio. No, I could have, I didn't. I plugged it just with Telegram, because Telegram is very open source. It's very open source, but the API is very generous.
And it's able to make calls with Telegram?
Yeah, so he can call me. So my friend built a variation of that where he literally just calls you. Well, it's a bot. He calls you, you got a meeting in 10 minutes, because I miss calls and calendar events, different calendars. So Google Meets, so it can be a bit tricky, especially if they're important meetings. So just rings you up an hour before the meeting happens, or I can set that time, right? And it took me maybe about an hour. there's a template, but an hour to fix it and try and actually connect it to my Telegram because I don't use it as much.
Somebody had built it and then you grabbed it in.
Yeah, so the templates are everywhere.
yourself.
Yeah. So if you go on the N10
look
website,
at the power of that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's also you knowing what you're doing.
Right.
You're able to take something. By the way, people don't know, for example, there's this whole hype. Sorry to, just to interject here real quick. There's this whole hype about AI automation. And when I say hype here, I'm not talking about a negative hype. It's a real, it's a real positive thing.
Mhm.
But what's happening is that like a lot of these things that a lot of people are doing with AI automations using NAN, Make, you actually have a lot of this stuff available to you right now. Anyone can grab it.
Even
Right?
Zapier years ago, that's been
It's
around
all
for a
available.
while.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Many
the
trials.
issue comes when you don't know how to plug those nodes and connect them, make it work for you. You see what I'm saying? But also the power of having you building your own assistant. I built my own assistant that does crazy stuff. I mean, people can do that. Like, handle all my inbox, my emails. That takes too much of my time. Right now, I need to build one to handle my whole WhatsApp messaging thing.
Yeah.
Like we checked my screen time.
Yeah.
Bro, WhatsApp takes the majority of my time.
Especially in the UAE where it's used for everything, right?
Yeah,
Right.
And someone will say to me,
Telemarketers,
okay, I need an EA. I get it. That's true.
Mhm.
But I'll build the EA. And I started building it, right? I built the EA with AI automations, and let it handle everything, right? But the point with that is, again, this is accessible to everyone. It's not unique to Shu'aib, right? You see what I'm saying? Anyone who wants to learn this right now, go on YouTube if you want, right? And you can learn all of it.
NSN.com is free, 14-day free trial.
Yes.
There's templates you can build. The only thing is, the thing with NSN, right, is it's been all over social media and YouTube.
Yeah.
People are making it out like it's so easy, so reliable.
It's not.
It's not that reliable. There's so
No,
many
you have to
errors
know- you
and
know-
there's so
you
many
know,
use
bro.
cases where you can break. So, I'm still in two minds for the last 3 months whether I should get another VA or just try and build and I continue doing using tech. But I think the best opportunity here is forget SMMA, right? There's people who still push it. There's courses about that.
What
I
is
think
that again?
SMMA agency. I don't think that's
Social media management.
marketing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because social media nowadays it's become so automated. Now there's all these tools. There's Refarm, which I just realized where I just saw it online where you can basically just upload and build AI slide on TikTok without having the app, right? Which is something I've been looking for a long time. So you can have it on the website, on the platform. It basically creates 30 pieces of content that are viral and you just push it. And I've seen a lot of use cases. It looks good. So there's that. So I'm like, okay, why do I even need an editor anymore? And now there's custom for editing. It's still early stages. I know 2 guys who are building it. One YC, but I think it's still early stage. But once he's finished and it looks and I see some reviews, I'm gonna go ahead and use it because CapCut and all these, they're just not doing it for me.
Yeah.
So the reason why I say SMMA is not, it's something people shouldn't be doing as much anymore is because it's so saturated. There's no moat left anymore. Everyone's doing it. But an AI agency, imagine right now, I can go ahead and sell my personal assistant AI bot to anyone, to an exec, right? And I'm good. I can just charge them X amount to maintain it, add new features.
Like $1,500, $3,000. You can sell that,
easy.
make that kind of money.
Easy. People will pay that. People are paying that for EAs anyway, right? But you don't have to talk to them. They don't have any days off, no annual leave, nothing like that. It sounds a bit, but that's the way we're going. And Microsoft, let go of over 7,000 employees for a reason.
I just saw that. That's,
So
we're gonna come to that.
Yeah.
We're gonna come to that. Jazakallah khair. That was deep.
Well, yeah.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna come to Andalusi with a heavy question. You're not ready for this one. All right?
Cool, man.
I actually think you are because maybe last time we spoke, we kind of touched on this, right? So let me preface it. What I'm gonna ask you, let's put Arabic to the side, okay? We know that's your, that's everything. Walillah alhamd, right? And it's a noble mission. Walillah alhamd, right? But if you could give up everything and build only one thing for the next 10 years, only one thing, what would it be?
Well, I have to sit down and think about it, but I know the frame that I would take, which is it needs to fix a problem. It needs to, the bigger the pain the people is having, the more it's going to be useful for them, or the more they are going to be willing to pay. It cannot be seasonal, like something like for Hajj season or something like that, for Ramadan, or and and that's the framework I would sit down and think. The more, and when I say pain, it could be desires of the people as well. Like people, they, that's why Netflix works. That's why, all of these apps work. But yeah, that's how I would take it. It would take me a little bit to sit down and.
So you don't have that thing in your mind yet right now. There's not so basically, and I want to make it a little kind of like like this.
And it would be for rich people. People who have the most money.
Why?
Because
it's easy to sell.
Yeah, like if you can if somebody is worth 100 million and he has a 1 million problem and you charge him 100,000 to fix that problem, for him it makes sense. But if you go to the average person who is worth like $5,000 and he needs, like, he maybe in disposable income, maybe he has $500 a month in disposable income that he just uses for leisure or whatever it might be. To charge him, maybe he has saved maybe $10,000 that he's been saving for 10 years maybe, and charge him 9,000 for it is gonna be a hard one.
Yeah.
But rich people, they pay better.
Of course. That's a good one. This is a lesson for me. We got to rethink everything. No, for real. And I've been hearing this from from obviously some of the people, like really solve rich people problems, and you get paid, right? And they're willing to pay, and they're going to give you less headache, right, and stuff like that. Okay. Cool. So next one, and any one of you can feel free to take this. Okay. Looking at the Muslim Ummah today, and let's be real, right? I know I keep saying that, but let's keep it real. Do you think that Muslims today, even with AI and technological advancements, and some of the Muslim countries, walillah alhamd, actually having the means and being in a good position, right? Do you think we are consuming more or creating? I mean, I'm bringing it up so that we can talk about it. I know what I believe, right? But are we more consumers or creators? And you mentioned about being what did the brother say about the intellectual molestation, right?
You're intellectual molested.
Yeah. So are we becoming?
Jab's funny, but
have we become digital slaves without even realizing? I'm talking about as an ummah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I absolutely believe that's the case. I mean, first of all, I think it's more general than just the Ummah. The whole world is basically, except maybe for 1 or 2%, is like consumers, right? That's just normal, right? But within the Ummah, it's definitely more obvious, To the point
is it more among the Muslims versus, let's say, let's say some other communities, like let's say I can say the non-Muslims, or I can say specifically, the Americans and the Europeans, and we can even talk about other parts of the world.
Right.
Is it more the Muslims? Like, what are we seeing as a trend among the Muslims? Are we seeing
Muslims
more
in the West?
creators?
I think it's more the Muslims in the West. Here's the thing. We are so abundant, like we're so abundant, right? We have an abundance of food, education, people to be around, connections, right? Facebook was invented to connect more people. All it's done now, all these social media, is just make people more lonely. There's a loneliness epidemic. There's people who are just by themselves, who scroll for 3-4 hours a day, right? Consuming other people's content. What that creates is comparison. Oh, he's better than me because he has this, or she has this, or he looks fitter, or he's more richer. As constant comparison. And imagine you're a miskin with a very low paying job, who trying to get along, trying to put his family through, just trying to pay the bills, right? Let's say you have a brother in the UK, he's doing security, he's young, he just finished uni, right? He's on his break and he's just watching other people win, right? He could do two things. Or think they're winning. Yeah, exactly. Looks like yeah. But that's all he's seeing. He's seeing the highlight reel, right? Literally the highlight reel on Instagram, right? So he got to do two things. He could spend the next 18 months doing the same job. And I always think security is the best job and the worst job. It's the best job because you can just sit there and grind. You can learn anything. You can learn deen. You can learn how to make money. You can do whatever you want. You have a laptop there and there's no one watching you because you're just guarding an empty building, right? Or you can just consume, get your money, do more shifts, and then just swap your time for a bit of cash, right? And they get taxed like almost 40%. So there's two ways. I still think, yes, the Muslims are, because obviously we should have knowledge, right? But we're just stuck in that circle. A lot of brothers are stuck in my circle. I say brothers because I don't really expect sisters to, make money.
Stuck in what circle exactly? What are you referring to?
Stuck in the circle of consuming and being and comparison.
Right. And being satisfied with
Are
that.
we too? I guess, are we like comfortable? Do we have limiting beliefs? I know you speak about limiting beliefs a lot.
Limiting beliefs is a big thing.
Muhammad.
Yeah.
Is it because that we're comfortable, or is it because we have limiting beliefs? Right. What
I
do you
think that is a limiting belief problem. Like, I was just thinking about this, I think this morning and yesterday, because I started teaching Arabic teachers how to teach online. And I was there was one brother that right now has a successful Arabic institute, and I met him, and he was still working a job and teaching English and so on. And I remember I told him, like, bro, I'm telling you, just do this. You're not gonna need to work again. And yesterday I asked him, yo, give me a few ideas. Like, what was you thinking before you started your Arabic Institute? Because I'm trying to create content for people for Arabic teachers so they know. And one of the questions he said, or one of the things he was thinking is, once I made money the first month, I was like, is this just like temporary? Like, is it just this month, or can I maintain this, or can I? And that's exactly how I felt my first $10,000 month. I was like, yo, wait, hold on. I was sitting in my...
It's a one hit.
It's a one hit.
It was in my 300-pound a month apartment in Mauritania, making $10,000, and I was like, walk like 5 steps away from the masjid. I was like, yo, wait, hold on.
It's imposter syndrome, It's like, can this really be...
So it's a limiting belief, because I remember even years ago, I cannot build an audience for non-Muslims with this beard looking like this. And then I look at all the successful entrepreneurs. I don't know what his name is. I think he sells info products, like a black American dude. He has a big beard.
Yeah, the dude with the Christian guy?
No, I think he's Muslim, because he has like the sujood mark.
Oh,
or maybe he
could. No.
I don't know his name. I wouldn't be able to guess, but I always see his face. And with time, I realized that people, they just want to fix their problem. And just a few days ago, when I started like prompting this on Lovable and so on, I made like a whole community timeline and so on. I was like, why Muslims don't have their own Facebook and Instagram? But then I was like, it makes sense that it would be hard to market to, but not impossible, to market to Muslims to leave what's feeding your desires and come into something that is actually going to be
limiting.
Limiting.
Social media
in a lot of ways.
Notoriously the most difficult thing to build.
Yes.
Even if you start, early ones people are doing okay is Threads, but that's because it's just Meta, right?
Because you forced everybody to get on.
Exactly. They already know, and he just cloned Twitter, and he already has the data and the ecosystem, and that's I think that's if trying to build anything to do with that, trying to build anything with AI or any technology related initiative, it's all by data. If you have data, if you have people, if you have even followers, that's data.
But how do you get the data if you don't build anything yet?
Right.
Don't you have to build first before you get data?
That's true. But you know the biggest I think he's doing like 6 million a month. Creo. It's just an AI video editing app like CapCut. He's doing that because he just has a lot of followers. He has, I think, 1 million on TikTok, and I think almost 200,000. He's a kid. He's 18 on Instagram, and he just makes content. And he realized, look, I've got all these followers, I've got all this content, I've got all these emails. And he just built an app, and he didn't even need any VC money, investor, nothing. He built that app. He built a killer team, and then it just is growing really, really
through
fast.
his community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the community.
Powerful.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah.
Community is super powerful, which leads me to my next question, right? This Ummah is one big community. Okay? What is stopping us, right, as 2 billion strong, from producing world-class products, right? And platforms, like we just talked about the social media platforms. We can talk about all these tools that we're all using. What is stopping the Muslims from building these products? Look, I'll give you an example. We talk about this a lot.
Mhm.
China,
Mhm.
Russia have their own platforms.
Mhm.
They don't need Google.
Even India. You know?
Even India now. They don't
Mhm.
need Google.
Mhm.
They don't need none of these Western platforms.
Mhm.
They have their own.
Yep.
When we talk about China, okay, we can say 1.3 mil. India, 1.4 million people.
Billion. Yeah.
Or,
Mhm.
a billion people,
Mhm.
right? Russia, how many? 100 plus million?
Yeah, at least.
Not 200, right?
Yeah.
Million. So now it's not about because there are over a billion people,
Mhm.
but then the Ummah, the Muslim Ummah, for sure we have things that unite us.
But we're scattered. That's the thing.
It's got-
Right, but we have 2 billion people. That's the biggest single market in the world, literally, right? So what is stopping us? Is it because of lack of skills? Is it because of confidence? Is it because we lack unity, what you just said now?
Mhm.
Or is it something deeper than that? What is it?
Scarcity mindset.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, further. And I was just gonna say, I think it has to do with, again, being self-satisfied, right? We think, okay, we don't need more because we already have everything we need.
But what do we
It's possible.
have?
We talk about technologically, right? Okay, let's say you have the iPhone, you have a lot of Android phones and stuff. Somebody may sit there and think, okay, I can create a better phone, but how am I going to do that with this in this market? Right? Like you kind of like, okay, and then you kind of give up on that idea because you think about the difficulties that come with building.
The Chinese don't
right?
think like that.
That's what I'm
Huawei
saying.
has their
That's the
own
difference.
thing.
That's
The
the difference.
Indians have.
I'll tell you. For example, recently I saw this company in India, an AI company, that built an LLM, right? Brand new from the ground up. They built their own AI model, right? And then they launched it. Of course, there was nobody downloaded it, nobody used it, and people were laughing at them online. But I'm like, this is how people lose, because these people laughing will never build anything. But these people, they understand that now. Indians are understanding that we are late to the competition, but we're going to start now.
Yep.
In 10 years, check back and see who's laughing now.
For sure.
That's how it works.
It's like
you get started.
It
Exactly.
went viral.
Exactly.
As
Your
the
first,
Chinese. No
exactly. You know, your first product, your first few products, most likely, will never be anywhere near where you want it.
People laughed at the
You
first
understand?
iPhone.
Exactly. You know, so it's like even ChatGPT. You talk about even, before, because ChatGPT, again, it made AI mainstream. But before that, companies have been using it in private for years, right? Like they had version 3 and 2 before that and everything. But these were not great models at all.
Laughable.
Like it was laughable, exactly, right? But we don't know this because they took a long time to build it in the back. In the back of the curtain, basically, right? Nobody was seeing the issues with those models, right? But once they were confident to put it in public, now they iterate even faster. I mean, look at between 3.5 and where we are now, 4.1.
Yeah.
It's massive difference. It's a massive difference, you know? So I believe the Muslims, we can do a lot of things when we come together, you know, but the problem is the coming together part, for sure.
So you think the biggest issue is the unity?
I think, again, thinking that we have what we need already, maybe in terms of just like, okay, you know what, we don't need another phone, we don't need another Facebook, right? But, you know, I think that's like the number one thing, right? Thinking that we have everything we need, which we don't,
That's being provided by
yes, exactly, which they have control of, which they can cut off anytime, you know. But and again, people have tried to, for example, create another Facebook for the Muslims, but guess what? The Muslims are not ready. They didn't use it. You know,
they don't support it.
They didn't support it. Exactly, right? People have tried Twitter.
There was sorry to cut you off. There was one that I actually used for a good 6 months. Built by this brother who kind of forgot about the project, but that's what I'm seeing a lot.
Right.
It's leadership, it's these founders, it's the investors. Even I don't think you need investment as much anymore. People are bootstrapping and just doing by themselves a lot easier because of AI. But also governments. Now there's a massive discrepancy between government initiatives, regulations, and AI. So, good example is the UAE now said all schools here can have ChatGPT Plus for free. If you want to build a model on top of GPT, go ahead, free tokens, all of that, right? Because Sheikh, like the royalty here, and Trump and what's his name? Sam Altman shook hands. That's all it took, right? The leaders coming together and realizing, you know, in the next 5-10 years, this was going to happen. And they're kind of moving the dice. They're moving the pieces. They're kind of like controlling a lot, but we just don't know because we're just too busy in our own heads. So this app, anyway, it was basically a social media for Muslims. And you can, every time you post, you can post whatever you want. Obviously, it's regulated, but every time you post, if someone likes it, every time you post, you pick a charity you want to send money to. And they'll do it. They had like 10 charities from different sectors.
Nice.
Every time you post, and if someone likes your post or comments, or curious more, even if it's just a few pennies, all right?
Amazing.
And you can imagine, how many people are posting like 10 times a day, right?
Yeah.
And just getting that, and you can see your feed, your analytics, how much you're contributing to charity. That's it. It's called mini deeds. So I'm not sure where that project is now, but someone just picks that up along, and it was good. Like I didn't see any toxicity there. I didn't see anything bad there. I actually enjoyed it.
That's the problem, though.
Yeah.
Not seeing any toxicity is the problem because that's what people enjoy. That's what people go for.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Twitter is probably the most toxic place in the world, right? To be honest, but for me, it's my go-to place for news, for all of these things.
For news is the fastest place.
And everything, right? Because it's they have some good spaces in there. But the point is, if you wanted to build a Muslim social media app, the first, barrier you have is that if you're gonna, if you're gonna have a lot of limitations, like for example, no haram pictures, people will leave.
Yeah, exactly.
People will not use it because you're saying you have a lot of limitations. So again, that's what I'm saying. We're not willing to sacrifice, a lot of things, that we want, that our hearts desire. Because of because of desires. That's all it is.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. If you're looking to get into tech, real estate, entrepreneurship, or simply make hijrah, let's connect. Click the link below to speak with me, and I'll help you scale exponentially and fast track that process for you. And now let's get back to the podcast. Okay, and I want to throw this question to all of you, right? Mohammed, I want to hear your take on this, right? What's stopping us from producing world-class products and platforms, right? But, okay, we can say social media is one thing. Like, we've spoken about social media, maybe, like, literally, especially me, Abu Aisha, we spoke about this maybe, like, since 2017, okay? And when we were, like, or 18, like, when we were just, like, early starting to actually code. But the limitation for me, like, why I never embarked on even thinking about building something, and there's another brother, or one of our brothers as well, we spoke about it, it's always been these limitations, right? Like, that we will have, which they shouldn't be seen as a negative thing. People don't like seeing the toxicity on this platform. That's what they complain about, realistically speaking. Nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants negative feedback and all that stuff. Who could build a better platform that is more fair and just and truthful than a Muslim platform? It's impossible, right? If it's done right. But let's put social media aside because we know that there's some challenges. But what about other products? Why we don't have our own, LLMs, for example, right? Let's just use that right now as an example. Phones. How many watch companies? We're all wearing watches. How many watch companies are owned by Muslims? How many of the clothing or shoe brands that we wear all the time? Talking about the Muslim Ummah is owned by Muslims, not being manufactured by Muslims. And a lot of stuff being manufactured maybe in some Muslim countries, and they're paying pennies for, and then they resell it for hundreds of dollars. Why are we not doing that? Limiting beliefs, lack of skills, lack of confidence.
I mean, I do think though that in order for somebody to be world class adept about something like tech, for example, it would take a certain amount of years for him to get there. A certain amount of years, and perhaps that's like something given to him, like he's just good at it. And then I think that the best approach would be, because even if we say Muslims, like what do we mean by owned by Muslims? Because many times there are many things that are owned by Muslims, but he's not necessarily, even himself, he doesn't necessarily like identify as a Muslim kind of thing. Like you could say, for example, right now, if I'm talking about info products, right? You could say Iman Gaji, he's the top guy now. And I mean, does he really? Yes, he does say from his mouth, yeah, I'm Muslim.
Did he? He said, I mean, there's lots of things that I Googled at one time.
I mean, maybe he changed his mind.
He wants to die a Muslim, but he was growing up, because he's Dagestani, right?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it from his mouth, and I've been to his house, and I told him I'm about to pray. He said, yeah, for sure, he prepared for me and everything. So he definitely aware of it. But I'm saying, like, the best approach I see, and it reminds me of like the times of King Faisal in Saudi and so on, is the guys that are chasing, like the guys that are just conscious about Allah, but their main thing is how can we be world class at something in this dunya, like for example, or in a country, right? That could be the top thing to do in this world. And then the main thing would be them being conscious about who could allow them to like keep that balance of like not overstepping towards the dunya. And this is why I think scholars with like highly capable people in the tech world and in politics and how to build society and so on, they need to go hand in hand.
For sure.
Because like, I mean, I'm pretty sure when I was thinking who has built a world-class, company or tech or product and is Muslim, there's probably a bunch of them, but they don't necessarily have Islam present in their
They
life
hide
like
it.
that.
They're
Right,
just
that
scared.
identity,
Or they hide it too.
No,
Yeah.
So I think you would take that, because to be honest, in order for you to be like I don't know, Elon Musk type of thing, that's his ibadah. Like he sleeps,
He lives and breathes it.
he breathes it. He's obsessed about it, and it requires that level of obsession, the level of obsession that Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah had for knowledge,
Right.
in order for him to reach that level. But again, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, you can say he's highly intelligent, but he's not gonna take 10 years off to learn about technology. And
But now let's touch on that, right? We know for a fact that not all Muslims will be ulama,
right.
even if we wanted it. That's just not the reality. That's just not the sunnah of Allah on the earth. Some people will be ulama. Some people will not be. Some people, in fact, won't even be students of knowledge. The majority, in fact, won't be. They're not, right? But every Muslim, just like every other individual on the face of the earth, has something they can give, something they can contribute, right?
No.
And society functions when you have different people in that society fulfilling different roles. The alim who's just busy with the knowledge, with the ilm, with the research, with the fatwa and writing the books, he's not going to be your doctor who's going to be performing surgery for 12 hours, right? But you need that doctor, right? Is he less important in the society? And I'm not comparing the alim with the, with the doctor, but I'm saying he plays a major role. The Muslims need doctors, right? Today, if, and then we need other things. We need engineers, because if we don't, we're left behind. For some of us in the society, our biggest undertaking will you absolutely have to learn your religion to worship your Lord. But in fact, if you are a practicing doctor who's taking care of the Muslims, is that not ibadah? Again, given, your intention, if you purify your intention and you intend that for Allah, are you not worshiping Allah through that? Of course you are, right? Your sleep can be worship. Your eating can be worship. What about you educating the Muslims? Let's say you were teaching technology in some university to the Muslims with the intention, I'm going to teach this because I want to make sure that I can help the Muslims level up, right? So I think this is where the confusion is for a lot of us, right? Because now you have, like we just said, now there's a lot of people who they not practicing their religion, aslan, and they're out there, and maybe they're building things we don't even know, right? There's this guy from, is it
Anthropic?
Mustaq, or is it Anthropic?
No. Stable Diffusion.
Stable
but
Diffusion.
He stepped down a while ago. Yeah.
Right. He's from Bangladesh.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he's a practicing Muslim or
Oh,
not.
really? Why did he step down?
Yeah, because the
Issues
company
happen.
was struggling a little bit financially,
Right.
So yeah, they
Stable
asked him to
Diffusion.
stay. Huh?
Stable Diffusion.
So yeah, Stable Diffusion. Yeah.
Well, we don't know the inside politics,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But he's a Bangladeshi guy from Bangladesh.
Very smart dude. Allahu
very intelligent guy. We have this other guy that we had from Google that did these interviews, a lot of interviews on AI and stuff like that from Egypt, right? So we have people that are capable for sure. But again, sometimes we do have people that maybe they're Muslim, but,
Also, you know what it is? It's the Muslims who are in those scenarios, even let's say they're like, top heads and, working at Google or Meta, or even if they have a a job, but they're like executives at those companies, they feel alienated because around them is just a bunch of non-Muslims.
Right.
Like the guy who's running AI by at Microsoft.
Let's do this, huh?
You've seen that? The guy running the AI division, I think he's running the whole AI division at Microsoft. Remember when that Moroccan girl,
Mm-hmm.
the Indian girl protested live?
Oh, yeah,
Mustafa.
Mustafa.
His name is Mustafa.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He's Muslim.
Yeah.
He's the one building.
Vocal, they're just worried about, okay, my visa's going to go. You know, it's not even my job.
Right.
I could get kicked out of the country.
Right.
That's the thing.
This
like,
dude
it
is
takes-
running the whole division at Microsoft. Like, you could go back to whichever country you came from and literally...
he built an AI company himself, and then Microsoft got him from that. Like, they didn't buy the company; they just hired him because he was that good. He was actually,
which is actually
Pi, the app Pi.
Yeah.
You know, he
But
built
that's
that.
the thing. Like
that's
it would
yeah.
take finding a person who his main priority in this life is pleasing Allah,
No.
and somehow he has spent or Allah given him this world-class skill that he then decides to like, I'm going to like, he thinks like, like how can I help the Muslims over the 500 million contract that Zuckerberg is offering him,
Yes.
you know?
And this is what I wanted to get to because
Temptations.
this is what I wanted to get to, Akhi, because we have Muslims who are apparently practicing Muslims. I'm not saying these guys are not, by the way, they're not, praying and, I'm not saying that because I don't know them personally. But you have, generally speaking, and this is a little maybe sticky, right? But generally speaking, in the circles where we have clear practicing Muslims, it seems like the ambition when it comes to these things is either low, the limiting belief is extremely high, or we feel like if I was to focus on building the next biggest tech company or next biggest product platform, then I'm compromising my religion.
Yeah, and it's
Is that
a
the
fine
case?
balance
Yeah.
because even like, for example, I know a few guys, right? So most of my circle here is like a lot of Somali brothers in tech. I'm in a group chat.
Yeah.
We play paddle, right? And I was like, bro, are you doing anything on the side? What are you building? He works at Amazon as an engineer. He goes, yeah, I'm actually building this LLM model that's similar to Taqtil, help people memorize the Quran. Other brothers who's working full time, but they're doing a lot of great stuff and they have thousands and thousands of users. Pillars, for example, the founder of Pillars, he works as a doctor, right? And he's building another one called Jibril, which is like Duolingo for fiqh, right? So there are these things, but it's just whenever they start thinking, I want to be massive, I want to be the next $1 billion company or whatever, and then it's like, I'm going to have to quit my job, I'm going to have to do this, and then it's like the sacrifices are going to have to start being put into place, which then they just kind of stop and they just shelve the product, right?
No.
And that's why I would say the easiest thing to do is just to
time.
really have that mindset of like just focus on your first, even 5K a month, right? Even if you don't make 10K a month, focus on trying to make a few $1,000 extra a month, doing whatever, as long as it's halal, right? Work with a couple clients or just do your own thing. Quit your role. That way you just open up 40 hours a week, just like that, right? So it's not even just about trying to be massive, even 20K a month. For example, if you have an app, especially an app where it's not based on your personal brand, if that's 10K a month, revenue, not even profit, you can sell that. And I've seen people get offers for $250,000 a month, $300,000 wire transfer direct, right? There's a lot of guys who just build small SaaS products, right? Even the little ones, little app. There's one that's like a health improvement app, right? Got to 10K a month and boom, he sold it for I think $270, right? So it's just trying to see how fast you can go and see how much money you can make just to fund your lifestyle. Then you can go crazy with that.
But if you look at what's happening in the States, okay, and other countries, there are so many young founders, there are so many people that maybe quitting their jobs to build products.
Yeah.
How are they able to do that?
Funding, VC.
Funding.
Yeah.
So why don't we
Angel
have
investors.
that? That's another thing.
We do.
Why
Yeah, I think we should have more of them. So there are a few. There's like Friday, which is a Muslim-owned one where there's a bunch of VCs, a bunch of angel investors, even people who have high-paying roles who actually want to give small
Like
tickets,
angel investors
20,
and stuff.
30K,
Yeah.
like that. I'm on their group and they're quite open. They talk to you. The founders talk to each other. Well, that's America. Americans they're doing a lot, right? But it's small communities.
This
right?
is in America?
This is American, but I'm on their community. It's like a circle. It's like an app, like almost like school, but it's different.
Interesting.
Circle, right? These like a community. It was originally made for online courses.
Amazing.
Community platform. Then there's Alif one as well.
Yeah.
And then there's Zabil, which I started, which right now only has four to five investors. But it's difficult because it's trying to get as many founders as possible to get pitches to these investors, and then go just start building. If you give someone $100,000, that will give them the confidence to quit and go full time.
So what's the issue? So what's the bigger issue here? We don't have enough founders building products, or we don't have enough enough investors.
The connection.
So wait, are we saying we have enough founders and enough investors, or
100%.
we lacking on that?
All of us at this table could be investors, right? You don't have to give $200,000 to someone and risk it, because
no. When I say investors, I mean actually people actively doing it. I mean not people who could do it, right? I mean actually people are actually doing it. Do we have enough Muslims? So I guess the question is, currently, do we believe there are enough Muslims building products? Aslan.
I think there are, but they're not. They're
not obsessed about it.
They're not obsessed.
Right.
They don't think even if I get money, I'll
without
go
being
crazy with it.
Hold on. Could you make Andalus, institute? Do you believe? Before that, we know everything's tawfiq Allah Azza wa Jal. Do you believe you could get it to where it is today without obsessing over it?
No, I couldn't. This is why I know, like, many times, I teach Arabic teachers how to. Somebody said, but don't you fear building your competition? I'm like, these guys, they don't want it like I did, man.
They don't understand.
They don't. They're not gonna be willing to divorce. They're not gonna be willing to stay away from their family, not see the children for a year, 2 years. They're not gonna be willing to move to whatever they have to move. They're not gonna be willing to stay away. Then I did all of that. I know these guys. They fear leaving their job. Like your tawakkul is not even solid enough for you to even like just stop everything to do this and believe that you're gonna make it happen.
No.
So obsession is like, this is what I'm thinking, like what Muslim do you know that's as obsessed? And I say, I guess because he's the mainstream, and I know there's a bunch of them, but who's as obsessed as Elon Musk is, like delusional obsessed about going to space.
Yeah.
So why don't we have like delusional obsession about about like finally connecting Muslims and stop, because the reality is most Muslims, they don't want to work with Muslims.
He's right.
Controversial, but we need to hear this.
Competition, fair, even in the. I wish Abbas was here, because even in this Muslim marriage app space, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of like toxicity. Even
I had him. I had him on, right? I had him on.
Yeah,
I had him on the podcast. We spoke about it. We have one that we built before they built Sunnah Match.
Okay.
But still, in fact, what did I say to you? I told him, I said, Akhi, I want us to add something on Zawj, that because the Sunnah Match is the only one I trust. That's just the reality based on what I've seen. I said to Muhammad, Akhi, we need to add something on Zawj to say, hey, by the way, if you have not succeeded in finding someone here, check out Sunnah Match. Like, bro, because at the end of the day, what's the point of it? This man will never take my rizq. Never, ever. But if I can be a sabab for a Muslim to marry the halal way, build a family.
While you
the blessings from that alone,
while you're helping another Muslim entrepreneur as well.
Yeah, well,
it's silly.
Crazy. We think we're competition for each other. In fact, we have something as Muslims that no one else in the world has. If we know it and we implement it, which is what? We know that our rizq, no one can take.
Guaranteed.
We know that our rizq is guaranteed. If you know this, you have yaqeen about this. Why do I worry about my brother or my brother or my brother?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what do I worry about? I'm worried about competition. And you and I, we spoke about this again last time. Like, you mentioned about one of the brothers there, another program. You advise him to do it. You advise him to do his Arabic program. Right? And now you're teaching other Muslim Arabic teachers to teach. And people look at it like, you're going to kill your own platform by, like...
limited belief. That's how they think.
Limiting beliefs and thinking that now you're creating your competition. Isn't competition actually good for business?
It is actually.
Yeah.
Has the fact
if I
that
have no competition, I'd be bored, bro. It's like, it's too easy.
Look at the LLMs right now.
Yeah.
What's happening with all the major LLMs?
Mm.
They're all getting better by the day. You know why?
Yep.
Because of the competition.
Mm.
Because nobody can be too comfortable. Everybody have to up their game.
Yep.
Now, what happens for the end user? Product becomes better.
Mhm.
Service becomes better.
And cheaper.
No.
Right? If you have
The
only
industry
one restaurant in
becomes
town,
better. Yep.
guess what? That restaurant has no incentive
Mhm.
to up their game.
Mm.
But once they know, oh, wait, there's 1, 2, 3 other for people have choices.
Yeah.
Now you have to up your game, right? To go back, Akhi, you said something that really resonates with me. And I believe that a lot of us, the majority of us, I'm talking about now, those who are proclaiming practicing Muslims, right? Which is the greatest noble thing you can do is to practice your religion, worship Allah Azza wa Jal. We're not willing to sacrifice. You mentioned, someone sacrificing, even being away from their families, a year, 2, whatever it takes. How many brothers have you met that are able and willing to do that? Because sometimes that's what it takes.
Mhm. No, a lot of the time that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
You can, even hijrah, you could look at it like that, right?
Mm.
A lot of people are not making hijrah because they think, how am I gonna, fund my hijrah? How am I gonna get a job there? How am I gonna, they're thinking too much. They're overthinking it, So that leads them to, delay and delay for years, because people are afraid of the unknown. But then again, if you know that it's Allah who provides, you, of course, take your steps.
Right.
And Allah's gonna, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, complete the rest. If you put your trust in Allah Azza wa Jal and take your steps, bi'idhnillah, the rest is gonna be easy. But you gotta remove that fear. I feel like Muslims have, a lot of restraint when it comes to taking risks. Without a doubt, like you said, most people are not willing to leave their families for 6 months, a year, 2, or something, because they're thinking about the bigger picture. Most people are not, but somebody like you mentioned, Elon Musk, this guy, I'm sure if you told him to leave his family for 10 years, and then he's going to
South
land,
Africa, right?
and then he's going to land in Mars and clear the colony there, he will leave his family for 20 years to do that, because for him it's worth it. I'm not saying, of course,
The
the
man
Muslims
built
are
a house
different,
next to his factory. He built a tiny house next to his factory.
Right.
He
His
speaks
documentary is
on his
really, really
office
good.
floor. Think about
the way he thinks.
Jack Ma.
Absolutely.
Think about Jack Ma and I don't know, the 18, 19 founders of Alibaba. You know how long these guys were building Alibaba before Alibaba became anything? Without making any money? About 2 years. Sleeping in that same tiny apartment, eating ramen noodle.
Yep.
That's what it takes, rely, man. That's what it takes.
This man was just an English teacher.
No.
Yeah.
Not a techie. Now he's built one of the biggest tech platforms and biggest e-commerce platforms in the world.
No.
Yeah.
But it took him and those guys sacrificing for 2 years, eating ramen noodle.
This is a good point I want to talk about, actually. I think Muhammad touched on that as well slightly. You need isolation. You need like seclusion. And that almost, it doesn't even matter really what your goal is, right? A friend of mine, he's in Thailand right now training Muay Thai, right? In the hills, right? In mountains. And he works remotely. He does like tech sales, right? But that's just how he makes the money. But he wants to focus on his like personal goals. And if you're building an app, if you're building an agency, whatever you're doing, you need at least 2 to 3 months, right, of isolation. Going to Egypt, going to Mauritania, going to even somewhere. My first tech role, I moved. Yeah. As soon as 2020 hit, I was still a radiographer, right, and I had to get a job, right. But there was no one hiring in London. A lot of hospitals, they were just hit with COVID, and which is really bad, right, to hire. So my first role, I went to Cheltenham, right, a bit up north, right. All white area. I don't know anybody. It was a house share with an Iranian brother. And alhamdulillah, that was probably the best, still to this day, the best 8 months of my life, right? Where I ended up, it was a 1-year contract, maternity cover. I had to cycle every day going back 20 minutes there. I was too broke for a car or anything. I was getting paid 1.4K a month, rent and everything. And my dad wasn't working. So a lot of that stuff, but I still kind of just put in the focus and I was alone. And that alone time, because COVID, right? You can't even go out. There was isolation. There was lockdowns, right? I'm not sure how it was here, lockdowns, but over there it was like the gyms were closed, so I had to work at home. So those 8 months to this day, I still think they're my most progress, because after those 8 months, I got an offer. I rejected the offer, and I got another offer. And I moved again to Stoke-on-Trent near Birmingham. I think it's like between Birmingham and Manchester.
When you say offer, that's when you transitioned from
Tech to
from the hospital to
NHS
tech.
to Stop and Junior.
And that's when you actually learned as well.
Yeah, in those 8 months,
isolation.
and when I actually in the isolation, 4 hours a day on the weekends and a 1 hour a day on the weekdays. So before my shifts, and there were different shifts. Sometimes I'd start my shift at 7 a.m. I finish at 3, so I learned from like 5 to 7. Other days my shift started at 10 o'clock, so I wake up early, and I still had to cycle that. So there's a lot of things, but alhamdulillah, that growth instilled in me the principles to which I still live by to this day.
I have a question on that.
Go ahead.
You sacrificed 8 months, which really, when you think about it, it's not even 8 months because you were only given 1 hour a day during the weekdays and 4 hours on the weekends. How many people do you know who cannot sacrifice 2 hours a day, weekdays, and let's say even
just a weekend, 4 hours on the weekend.
6 hours on the weekend. How many people cannot give that up?
Yeah.
You're using 6 hours to probably waste time at some coffee shop, okay? Or to play video games, right? Oversleep. You cannot give up 2 hours. And you know, on the weekdays and 4 to 6 hours over the weekend. You did that. How has that changed your life?
I mean, it brought me here. I actually ended up leaving the corporate world after 2 years, right? The program is taught by senior engineers who also moved to Hijra in Morocco. He works at Ford. Then I would just move on to client work. But because of that 8 months taught me, hey, if I can get into tech in 8 months without a degree, without any tech background, what else can I do? Okay, I can probably start working, because I'm not going to lie, the UK tech scene, especially as a junior, is different compared to the US. In the US, you're looking at 90,000 minimum, right?
Something like that.
Or even more, right? As a junior.
Sometimes more.
In the UK, 40, 45, then 50, then 60. It goes up quite a bit. In 18 months, you could 60 easily. That was not hard. But then I thought, okay, well, taxes, I'm doing 40 hours a week. I'm in meetings. I'm not even coding as much. Like, especially as you go up, you're not even coding as much. You're just doing meetings and telling interns what to do. Right. So then maybe it's just me trying to do other things and I got bored. But my biggest motivation was to travel more, especially when I went to Tunisia, like before this, 2019. And I was just in those Arab countries, North Africa. I really enjoyed it. I don't know why. So I went to Morocco, quit my job, and then just eventually I stumbled into other countries, and alhamdulillah, went to Egypt last year, then came here to the UAE. So, but without that,
but that was all a result, bifadlillah, of those 8 months of sacrifice.
Of coding, because coding is just building, and building and code is just, right, as we know, I think we spoke about AI a lot. AI is just a tool, and coding is just part of that tool, right? After that, I learned marketing, I learned sales, I learned how to, take money from in Zoom calls from clients, and just objection handling, all that kind of stuff. Since then, it's just been really easy, alhamdulillah. Right.
So the sacrifice, and again, that's what the brother was talking about earlier. People sacrificing, obsessing over what they're doing. Because I know when I decided to learn how to code, I had to obsess over that. That was 6 months. I moved away from my family completely. My family was in another country,
You need that. You need
to. And I was like locked away. Everybody knew they had to leave me alone. It was just me and what I had to do. The best investment I made in myself ever, bifadlillah, in terms of, work and career and
alhamdulillah.
But it was sacrifice. But guess what? What did I really sacrifice?
No.
Nothing. In fact, I was isolated from a lot of fitna and a lot of haram and a lot of, nonsense, where I was focused on learning and growing, bifadlillah azza wa jal. And then you see how that impacts other people, because all of us, the things that we do, is beyond ourselves, right? Yep. It's not just for ourselves. But I want to mention something here. For those who might listen, Muslims and non-Muslims that may hear this and think, why are we focused on talking about Muslims building? Because we genuinely believe, I know I do, and I'm sure you brothers, because we share the same beliefs, walillah alhamd, is that if Muslims were to build great products and platforms, it's not just for the Muslims, right? We're talking about building things. Na'am, we build primarily for ourselves, right? But it will benefit humanity at large, right? Because the Muslims want to do good for everyone, right? Without obviously compromising, without doing things that displeases Allah Azza wa Jal. But that's what we will aim to do. But I genuinely believe that there's a level of fear, there's a level of inferiority complex that we have, believing that we're not good enough. But again, if an English teacher in rural China, you know, I don't know if you guys read the story of Jack Ma. Like, the internet was not internet was not existing in China, by the way. In the early 90s, right, 95, when he went to the US first time and saw what the internet was and came back and told the people, they're like, yo, you lying. What is this internet? Are you lying? This man, no tech background, how many times he applied for jobs? Every single time people get hired, even at KFC, he said, I applied at KFC.
Yeah, he could have got KFC.
Everybody's got accepted. I was the only one that was rejected, right? He was able to have, you know what he has?
No.
He has a belief. He has this very strong belief. Shouldn't the Muslims have a stronger belief? Because we have a Lord that we believe in, that we say, He's able to do all things. Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. And if you believe that you're going to do something, you're going to build something that's going to be pleasing to Allah, that's going to be a benefit to the Muslims and mankind, what's stopping us?
Yeah, sometimes I think, man, is Allah just testing the Muslim community, Allah. Because I'm like, for me personally, I know it's a spiritual warfare, as Muhammad was saying earlier, I once was doing a research on what does a top meditator look like a top 1% meditator, like a professional meditation person, right? What does he gain as a trait? Because everybody that becomes professional at a particular field develops a particular skill or trait in him. So I was looking researching that, and I came to the conclusion was that a top 1% meditator basically builds this trait of detachment. Like, I'm not, I cannot cause, or I cannot cause any output on anything that I do in life. And if anything happens, then it happened, and that's it. I can't do anything about it. And then it said that is a trait that a lot of religions and Eastern cultures have. And it said, for example, Islam, for example, Judaism, for example. So all religions in general, if you go to the core of it, we do have this detachment of like, what would I do if I'm gonna like the presence of like, I'm gonna die at one point anyways. And that's why, the Sahaba and the Prophet ﷺ as well made sure to tell the Muslim community, i'mal li dunyak, work for your dunya as if you are going to stay forever, and work for your akhirah as if you are going to die tomorrow. And for me, it's me personally, that's something I am guilty of like I feel guilty every day, which is like, okay, I'm building this, but my Quran, my muraja, then I'm like, yeah, but I mean, that's not an obligation. Anyways, I'm benefiting myself, and these I'm benefiting hundreds. So what should is this a ibadah? And is that constant guilt of like, am I doing enough? Am I maybe working? Is my niyyah getting mixed with like making money? Or is my niyyah khalisa to help people? And I think if somebody is actually practicing and he's conscious of Allah Azza wa Jal, and at the same time he has high aspirations, it could be a ni'mah to like have these, like, it's almost like a break. Like, okay, wait, hold on. You're going too much now into a business or into building or something. Go back to take a month off, take 2 months off to go and worship Allah alone. And I think if somebody is really practicing, there's always going to be that. You're never going to, at least for me, every time that I've gone too crazy about a project or something, I'm always like, I'm going to die anyways, man. Like,
exactly.
Why?
It's true, because it's true. Like, we only have, I think, what was it, like 60 summers, 70 summers. When you think about it like that, or 4,000 weeks, it puts into context how small our lives are, right? So it's like, why are we going so deep into this? Like, why is it just to, have a certain base lifestyle, you know, or is it like something else, right? It's a mission. So,
But doesn't that
Absolutely.
go back? Doesn't that go back to the niyyah?
No, that's
Yeah,
what I was about to say.
intention
Yeah.
as well.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because we know I get what you're saying, and this is the struggle for I think all of us have to go through, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, then isn't it also? Shouldn't we look at it the other way as well?
Mhm.
I will die,
So might
right?
as well,
And
yeah.
I'm gonna die soon. In fact,
Mhm.
right? The time I have left may be a drop in a bucket compared to what has passed. Literally, like none of us knows.
Mhm.
Shouldn't that also be the drive to say, well, you know what? Because of that reason,
Mhm.
I really need to work on something greater than myself.
Right.
Because if you think about what a scholar is, what an alim is, what is he doing?
Mhm.
Because he's sacrificing a lot,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
In fact, we know that the scholar is greater than the worshipper.
Mhm.
Why?
Mm.
Because the worshipper benefits himself only,
Mhm.
whereas the alim benefits
Mhm.
other than
Yeah.
himself.
Mhm.
Of course, he benefits as well,
Mhm.
right? But he's greater, it's levels.
Mhm.
So does it go back maybe to intention and the purpose and the why we're doing things?
Yeah. One thing though is definitely going to be only it's like, you know, the hadith about the mujaddid and the renovator of the deen is literally chosen by Allah Azza wa Jal for, because the reality is Allah doesn't need anybody to protect his deen or to spread his deen. But when I look, while you was talking, I was thinking of sayings or quotes where Allah Azza wa Jal pushes you to want good for everybody else more than you. But the reality is I only thought about ihris ala ma yanfa'uk. Focus on what benefits you. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Protect yourself and protect your family. So I see a big focus on take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
You're going to die. And whoever is going to be a genius and a visionary and he's going to be chosen to like, you know, to like protect the Muslims or bring the Muslims to a new level of whatever it might be, dunya or akhirah, it's only one person every like 100 years kind of thing.
Yeah, let them do it, you know.
Yeah.
Them,
like that person, his whole life is that.
Right.
He's been like Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he's been chosen for that.
But if we think about that, right, there's again, I really believe there's different levels, right? Because there is something that is a fard ain for everyone. Like we have to do. It's like basics, right? It's like, this is not, you know, you're not getting necessarily extra credit for this. Like you have to do it. You got to pray. You got to fast. You know, you got to give your family their rights, right? And, you know, like the basics that every human being on the face of the earth is commanded to do. This is the wajibat, that especially those things that are fard ain. You have to do it. But then that's the main level, because the one who has nothing can't give it. The one who's drowning can't save someone else who's drowning. That's understood. But I'm saying that's a daraja. But the companions, if we go back to the Sahaba, and this is why it's so important to study, you know, the Qisr al-Anbiya, the Hayat al-Sahaba. Let's think about the sacrifices. If we're talking about leaving families, if we're talking about isolation, if we think about doing for other than just yourself, because now that's a whole nother level now. If you think about Albani rahimahullah in this day and time, right? Okay, maybe how many, 20, 30 years ago, right? You know, 20-some years ago, rahimahullah. That man almost technically lived in the library of Damascus. What was he doing? Was it, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like if we think about that, again, this is the scholars, every single scholar, if we think about it, you don't neglect your family, yourself. You don't, because that's the base foundation.
But what does neglecting mean? That's what people don't
yeah,
understand.
neglecting means
like
you have to fulfill your obligations with your Lord.
No.
You have to make sure that your family's rights, you're fulfilling them.
Absolutely. I'm saying that to say, many people today, many Muslims will say about Albani, that was extreme. That's what I'm saying. For them, this person who's almost always in the library, for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, to collect knowledge, right, and decipher knowledge and make it available to people later in the future, in the future, they will see that, oh, this person was not with his family all the time. And the reality is
no life, no
yeah, no, work-life balance,
No,
right?
that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Work-life
exactly.
balance
There's
is
no
a
such
myth,
thing,
man.
subhanAllah.
No, but that's what they will say, right?
Yeah, that's
No,
what people
yeah.
say now. Yeah.
The reality is,
Mhm.
even those people who say that themselves don't spend enough time with their families.
Mm.
Listen to me. The way I see it is, again, we were talking about sacrifice earlier. You either sacrifice now and make change so that in the future you can have more time with your family, bi'idhnillah, right? Or you sacrifice your 2 9-to-5 jobs, right? And you never have time for your family anyway. So it's one or the other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
That's
That's
a good
what it
point.
is.
That's a
You
You
very
do
good
that. You
point.
do that for a lifetime.
Exactly.
The 9-to-5, you stick to that. You're like, this is enough for me. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna go to work, come back home by 6-7 p.m. and I'll spend 1 or 2 hours with my family. You do
Then
that for
that's it.
60,
That's
70
enough.
years. You're done. Okay, no
Enough.
problem. If that's enough for you, wallahi tafaddal. May Allah make it easy.
Mm.
For me, I don't see that as the life that I want.
Right.
I want to be able to have all the time in the world to do whatever I want with my family anytime I want.
Right.
That's real
Right.
freedom.
Right.
So
But-
it's either
right.
either way you sacrifice.
No, for
It's a
sure.
matter
No.
of which
But
one.
even
you
as
choose.
entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
what we do is
No.
the first few years
Mhm.
we do 12-hour days. We
Yes.
do, So it's
No.
that's why a lot of people think, okay, well, that's gonna be even harder. Yes, it's harder, but it's harder as long as you do things right,
Mhm.
and as long as you're not arrogant and listen to people and see what other people are going wrong and try and get your things right.
Mhm.
It should be shorter. It should be even 2 years, 9 months. It took me, I'd say, around just under 12 months to make my first 10K a month. And from that, it was just focusing on my 80-20, what's 20% of things that I'm doing to get 80% of the results.
Right.
And you can apply that in any area of life.
Right. Yep.
Right, but on this point as well of sacrificing and this and that, again, for the Muslim who's intentional about every single thing he's doing, is he really sacrificing? Meaning, if you're sacrificing for the akhirah, for your grave, for the hereafter, isn't that what you're supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? So, because now again,
That's true.
we talk about even sleep, even eating can be ibadah. I think what we're lacking is this kind of maybe intentional action. You see what I'm saying? Because that doctor who's going to spend 12 hours in surgery or more, he's not with his wife and his kids. He had to spend how long in medical school? How much time he got to spend now? But if he's intentional, I'm going to serve the Muslims. In fact, not just the Muslims, I'm going to aid any human being who's suffering to relieve that suffering. He's not going to get rewarded. Is he not going to? Of course he is. He's now working for his dunya and akhirah, and the akhirah being even more important, right? So I know this is a battle that we have again. All of us, we have to sometimes check ourselves. I'm like, what am I doing even for my religion? Like, what am I doing? But it comes to a point where I believe we have to, those of us who Allah has given the tawfiq to do more, it would be selfish. I think I heard one of the brothers say this. It would be extremely selfish for us to not push because I'm not doing it, you're not doing it, he's not doing it. Who's doing it? Then nobody does it. Then it becomes a sin on all of us, right? Because now this is not where the fard kifaya comes in, right? It's a communal obligation. If the Muslim Ummah is being left behind when we talk about drones, if we talk about technological, now it's going to be technological warfare, right? As somebody said, I think Einstein or whoever said, we know how World War I and II were fought, blah, 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 but World War III, or what was it say? Or I don't know how World War III will be fought, but the one, after that, we will be back to sticks and stones, right? Now, the Ummah, the Muslims, cyber security, cyber warfare is where it's at. We saw what just happened in the last few weeks.
Cloudflare, everything went down.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
If the Muslims are all left behind in these type of things,
Yep.
are we fulfilling our obligations? Are we protecting our borders? Are we, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much we're not doing. If you're serious about making hijrah and gaining financial freedom, stop waiting and start building. Coding for Hijrah gives you the tech skills to land a remote tech job or launch your own business, all for the price of a daily latte. Learn full stack development, AI, no code, and UI UX design fundamentals with a Muslim community that shares your vision. The first 100 students get in for a very, very special offer. Trust me, don't miss this. Click the link in the description and start your journey coding now. Now back to the podcast. Shoaib, come, yalla, bismillah.
Somebody told me once that I was it was a little bit of it was internal inside of Anders Institute, and it was I can't remember what did I do, but just in general, I take decisions quickly. The change needs to happen now. This is off. Close it down. Shut it down. Let's start this. And a lot of people, they can't keep up with that. That jump into Anders Institute in the team, especially close to leadership. And so I was told we're into a little back and forth and so on, and it was an advice towards me, which was you too hasty. And my response was, well, I was too hasty as well when I dropped out of school at 16. I was hasty when I started selling shoes instead of going to a job. I was hasty when at 18 I went to Egypt, and I was hasty when when I decided to drop everything I was doing to earn money to start Anders Institute. And you have a job today because all of those hasty decisions that I took. And a lot of people don't see that, and we have different lifestyles. This is the nature of an entrepreneur, the nature of a CEO. You have to do things that the average person is just not ready to even think of doing.
Absolutely.
Or he could never see himself taking a crazy, risky decision like that, and that's why you stay where you are at.
Yep.
The best way to make choices as well, as someone in any leadership role, the best way to make choices is based on data. If you can see the numbers are adding up, not just in cash revenue, followers, view time, conversion rates, all that kind of stuff. And that's probably what you saw to make those choices, right? And people say, oh no, but why are you being hasty? It's well, you can see the numbers are not where it's at. This is our bench point. This is our KPIs. If you're not matching that, then you need to be faster, right? That's the case of building a team, right? That's why it's so hard. I think that's one of the reasons why we're not building as fast and not spreading to as many people, is because as soon as people think, okay, bro, let's do a company together, let's have a co-founder, let's do this, let's have a CTO, and then it's the politics of that. Then it's salaries, investments, shares, all this kind of stuff, right? Everyone has been through something, I'm sure, on this table where you've had a bad co-founder, a bad partner, or issues of politics, right? I've seen it happen, and that's probably 70% of the reason why 80% of the reason I think why most startups fail is because of the people. And now, though, with AI, they're saying this can be the first unicorn, one-person unicorn. It's going to happen very, very soon, where one person builds $1 billion company. And we don't have to reach $1 billion, but we could spread our impact wide with just one person with AI, or one person connecting with other brothers using combining our platforms like we're doing with this panel, and then just spread that forward, inshallah.
No, absolutely.
So many questions I want to ask. I want to fast forward real quick. 20 years. None of us knows the ghaib, right? But looking at, predictions are made, especially in technology and business and things like that, right? Or even as running a startup, right? You're going to look at your data like you just mentioned now, and then make predictions based on that, what you believe will happen, bi'idhnillah. So fast forward, let's say 20 years from now. What scares you the most about where tech is heading? And what excites you the most? I have my answer, but I want to let all of you speak first.
No. I mean, I would say what scares me the most is number one, for sure, the impact tech can have on children, on families and stuff, because
in what sense?
In the sense that it used to be, I know the internet already did a lot of damage already, but AI may even take it to the next level, right? In the sense that it used to take a person time and resources, right? That could be transportation to go to the place where, whatever, to sin, to commit some things, to waste money and all of these things. Now you could do it by just pressing buttons, If we're already there now, imagine what can happen in 20 years, especially when everything is kind of automated in a way that makes it easier to access for everyone, right? But this, again, for me, I like to look at the benefits of things more than the negatives, because if I'm here to use it, I'm using it for the benefits, right? That's what it is, right? So I can see that technology has a lot of benefits. AI has a lot of benefits. And over time, we can build, as a community of Muslims, we can build a lot of things that can make our lives simpler, our lives much better, that can make, the Muslim countries more advanced than where we are now. All of this through technology. That doesn't mean technology is the only way forward. It's just that in the last, 30, 40 years, if you look at the data, the most successful companies are tech companies.
So you mentioned what scares you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what excites you the most?
Mm-hmm. I would say, there's a lot. It's not one thing or the other. It's just for me thinking about all like right now, right? In this age of, AI, right? All the benefits of this technology and what you can do with them. And one example is, for example, the Tartil app, right? The Quran app. We all know it, right? This wasn't possible 10 years ago, obviously, right? This is how technology advances so quickly that we can do so much with it, right? So for me, I can think of, for example, building an educational platform that has everything you want about Islam, making the learning itself easier, right? Just like, again, ChatGPT did, with OpenAI did with ChatGPT, right? So there's a lot of, I guess, potential products that can be built that can, hopefully, inshallah, make our lives, better bi'idhnillah ta'ala.
Okay. Jazakallah khair. I need to hear the raw truth of what really scares you about, the future of tech, like where things are going. And then also what excites you the most.
Where it's going wrong, and where it will continue to go wrong is misinformation. I'm at the point where I can't tell if this video is done by AI or not. Right?
Yep.
None of us is that.
Yeah. It's tough. Yeah, I can guess, but it's going to be, and this is today, right? Imagine it's just 6 months from now, right? So, and there's going to be more like arguments, more politics, how it's going to affect elections, run by different countries, even, I don't know, within companies themselves, right? That's where things can go really wrong. This is where I'm seeing a lot of positives, and, with Elon Musk and trying to, build Grok and, all these tools and trying to be a force for good and, truth. But if truth is governed by governments and politics and these AI companies, then it's not really true, is it? Right? Especially when it comes to our deen. So it can easily trickle down to our children, what they're watching. Parents are now having a very hard time to decide what to even teach their kids at this point. Right? Should I teach them coding? Should I teach them how to prompt AI? I think that should be the better option. Or should I just teach them the ethics of AI? Right? I was talking to a few guys here who are like leaders in the UAE space when it comes to AI ethics and governance, and they talk a lot about it. There's a lot of research, but there's just so much back and forth, and primarily it's because people just don't understand how these LMs work. So I think that's kind of my biggest fear. I think just that misinformation.
Okay. And what excites you the most?
In the next 5-10 years, what more of these youngsters are going to build, like young kids, and how it's going to change education in schools.
Are these Muslim kids or?
Muslim kids, kids in general, but how it's going to transform madrasas and everything, right? How it's going to transform learning Arabic, learning, memorizing the deen, tartil. Really, really like what they're doing. They're just pushing more updates every few months. Right. And a lot of people don't know Tartil has been around for years. Like they made their own AI model. They're a group of AI researchers. That's why no one can touch them in terms of like competition, because they've been doing this for a long, long, long time. But GPT kind of just propelled them forward. So that's what excites me a lot. Like just the capabilities of learning and how fast we can learn and apply. Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
What scares me the most, to be honest, is wars, because I can see AI, I don't see it far at all to be able to create a robot and just prompt it to, if you see anything moving, then explode. It's such a simple logic to create. And
you're saying AI doing that itself or people doing that?
Well, that's where we get to as well, because I was thinking, well, it always needs a trigger that starts the automation, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, if somebody with evil intentions just starts the trigger, or AI becomes so intelligent that now all it took is just to turn it on, and he keeps on building himself to more evil and more evil. They
self-learning.
they could literally just take.
By the way, you can self-learn today and technically almost build yourself now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
that's what
like,
scares you the most.
I don't see it like the iRobot movie that was
happening,
released
bro.
years ago.
It's gonna happen.
I mean,
Will Smith's gonna come out with.
I don't see how it cannot happen. And if that happens, then the human race, obviously we have our ideologies Islamically and so on, and we know what's gonna happen to an extent in the future, but. Like, yeah, warfare is gonna get crazy if you are able to do that. I'm pretty sure already governments are working towards that and just skipping it. And they talk
some
about
of the stuff they're showing it. The Chinese are not hiding it. Some of the things they're working on.
Even Elon Musk with humanoid robot.
Yeah. For sure.
Tesla robots. Now, this is why I'm quite bullish on Tesla stock, even though it's going up and down. Bro, like robotaxi now, it's gonna come out in, I think, UAE, next year in San Francisco and Texas. Teslas are now their own self-driving taxis, okay, like Waymo, right? But now what he's trying to do is anyone who owns a Tesla very soon can send the Tesla to be the taxi and earn money from them, right? So then it's going to be the next step, humanoid robots, right? You've seen a few demos where it can now automate factories, right? So it can tell whether something's soft, hard, and then it drops it and then picks it up, packages it, like packaging. That obviously will get rid of a lot of roles, but it can also potentially do a lot of damage, right? You can, decide to pick up the knife instead, and so all depends on the person behind it and the inner programming. Because the issue is, someone could embed a program, an algorithm deep into it years ago, activate at a certain time. I don't know. Like, this is probably more.
And it can be hacked.
It could be hacked. It could be hacked. Yeah. So it's tough, man. But hopefully more positive than evil, inshallah.
Hopefully,
That was very dark, Muhammad. But Jazakallah khairan, because we gotta keep it real. But now, give us some good news. What excites you the most?
Well, what excites me the most about AI is how simple life is going to be. How, as you said, even earning money, and it's just gonna become. I mean, because we might be in the space, but a lot of people don't even know what ChatGPT is yet. You know that, right? So a lot of people will still have classes of social classes in the world, but for entrepreneurs and tech people and so on, you are going to be like, before you could be 3 steps ahead of people. Now you can be 10,000 steps ahead of people. Because even a business, like you said, videos. I was thinking, I could technically automate the whole Andalus
I was going to say that, yeah.
Like, you could have teachers that are AI robots that are going to be way better than regular teachers, make less mistakes, speak for hours. They are unlimited.
So why not do it?
This is what I'm building.
I mean, that sounds good and sounds better.
No doubt.
Why not? You afraid people might call it fake or something?
I mean, I'm just saying, we're going to get there.
The results, right?
Then the videos, which is what promotes it. At one point, it's going to be unlimited. I remember 2 years ago, I was thinking, I want to make something for the kids, cartoons, and then quizzes after watching the cartoon, questioning about what they have seen in the cartoon. I'm like, I'll have to hire. I started finding, looking for
developers. Now you can do it.
I mean, this is actually what I'm actually building at the moment. So I said before, I'm in EdTech now. So
wait. Sorry, let me come to that. Let me come to that. I mean, I want this, but I want to come back to that. Forgive me, because we're about to wrap up. We have a very small amount of time. Okay. Forgive me, okay? I want to come back to what everybody's working on, but you heard of a what do you call it? Elevator pitch, right?
So
it's gonna be elevator pitch. Can I be?
I've done it a billion times.
I don't want the whole pitch deck.
Yeah.
Okay, you got 30 seconds. But before we come to that, so I'll give you a little moment to think about that. We're going to wrap up soon because we're running out of time. I'm going to ask you guys, all of you, a few questions. So before I go to, let me tell you what scares me the most and what excites me the most, okay? What scares me the most is what you said about misinformation, okay? But for me, it's deeper than that. It's actually the kind of misinformation that's going to affect the Muslims' religion, his aqeedah, his manhaj, his deen as a whole. I'll tell you, why do I say that? As of today, with video, with audio, you can fake anything you want. For the average Muslim who doesn't know black from white, if I bring him today a clip from, let's say, from one of the mashayikh that he takes from, or, you know, and I say, look, the sheikh said that and that and that. Here's the dalil.
But this is where we go back to how perfect Islam is, because إنما العلم بالتلقي. With the Senate we have, it's the only religion that's going to be protected no matter what AI happens.
But the average person,
The average person, no doubt.
But that's happening anyway,
and
even
he's
before
not
AI.
doing this.
Yeah.
People are being misguided before AI.
Exactly.
Whatever they heard, whatever they found. Now I'm saying it's a whole nother level, because not even the person who's upon the correct manhaj and aqidah, he doesn't know. There's a clip. It's Sheikh Uthaymeen rahimahullah video with the grainy background and all that stuff, you know? So it looks like it was shot in the early 90s.
And it's still,
With the audio perfect. Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah said this about this mas'ala, about this matter. Akhi, aqal shay, you are throwing doubt into his heart. And now we can talk about aqidah, manhaj, and we can talk about just everyday worship. To me, this is what scares me the most.
SubhanAllah.
The most.
You just gave me an
today,
idea for some content, man.
Yeah, today,
it's happening.
they have clips now.
They're dubbing the audio in English, and they're changing the translation.
They have it now. They even have it in Arabic. They've done it with 11 labs. Okay? So think about this. This is scary. Today, people, Muslims, not talking about non-Muslims, are having doubt as to whether we live in a simulation after what happened with VO3. You understand how that's crazy, right?
Yeah. And it's only going to get worse if we're not careful.
No, what do you mean? It's never, look, this technology is never going to be worse than it is today. This is the worst it's ever going to be, right? Bi'idhnillah. So for me, this is extremely scary. Even for people who have knowledge, I mean, when I say knowledge, I mean people who, you know, are able to open some books and read, and even them, I fear for them. I fear for all of us, to be honest, because the falsehood can be so mixed. Again, we know that Allah Azza wa Jal will protect His religion, bila shak wal haraj. Right? We know that. But people get lost along the way. We've seen muqtadi'een, we've seen some things happen. This has been happening since the advent of, you know, of the Prophet being sent. Things have been happening. Every generation will be worse than the one before. Now with this thing, for the ones who don't have the firm understanding of manhaj now. This is where people say, oh, you want to keep teaching all these books of manhaj over and over and over? Now you will understand why. Now you will understand why it's important to Kitab al-Tawheed, Thalatha Usul, these books. Wallahi, I believe now it'll be more important than ever before. There's you know, the people of the Sunnah always say what? You have to refer your matters back to who? To the scholars. Right? In the times of confusion and chaos, if you don't do that, you're done for. I mean, even if you don't do that when all is good, you're done for. What about now when it's going to be chaos and, you know, confusion and all this stuff? It's done for. So we have to prioritize this for ourselves and our family. So for me, that's the biggest scare. Okay? Because if a person dies upon misguidance, bro, that's over. Right? Right? That's meaning like if they die upon other than Islam or other than Tawheed, this is done.
Yeah.
And if they die upon, you know, certain, you know, innovation and certain things, you fear for them. Yeah. Right? So this is, now it's not just a matter of, you know, life. We're talking about now, you know, your eternal life. That's scary.
And it's happening already. You
No,
know?
it's happening already, akhi.
You know, I know some wives, what they doing? My husband he's not happy. My husband is not doing this. ChatGPT, give me a hadith or a qawl from a scholar that does this. ChatGPT, oh yeah, for sure. I found The other day I was going back and forth with ChatGPT about a qawl of Ibn al-Qayyim. He's telling me, he said in Madarij al-Salikin, I'm going to Madarij al-Salikin, looking.
It's not there.
It's not there.
It's not there.
You
Well, you
know
know why?
It invents
You know,
stuff.
is that ChatGPT has a contract with Reddit. It's trained off of Reddit as well.
Yeah,
which is Reddit is the
yes.
it's just people, right? It's just
Yeah.
community. So it's not.
Yep.
ChatGPT, what's one of the things what's one of the foundations that we're taught? Foundation principles that we taught in Islam is to say, I don't know.
Yeah,
La
yeah.
adri. Right? Half of knowledge. ChatGPT does not know how to say I don't know.
ChatGPT is
It
Egyptian.
hallucinates.
You know, my son, subhanAllah, he was like, ChatGPT said this and this and this. I said, okay, you sure? He said, yeah.
What's the source? Yeah.
No. He believes what I said. Now ask it this way,
Mm.
and it's something that he was so convinced about. It's like saying the capital of Saudi Arabia is a Riyadh, right? I said, now ask it this way. He knows. By the way, he knows what the truth is. Walillah alhamd. He said, but ChatGPT, but I thought the capital was Jeddah. He goes, yeah, actually, you're right. My fault for, I apologize for my for my confusion there. Ajib.
Yep.
It will distort the truth
No.
to satisfy you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's why ChatGPT is easy to start with. Has an app, is mainstream, but it's a people pleaser.
No, that's
It's
what
a
it
people
is.
pleaser, and that's why people are using it even as a therapist,
Yeah.
and people are talking to it. That's why I like
Using
to
it
have
for
other
man-
models on
they're
the
using
side.
it for- They're using it for greater than Naya, akhi. For the Aqidah manhaj.
Yeah.
Now, worse than that is knowing that people cannot differentiate what is truth and what is not truth.
Right.
They can't. They don't have the tools and the knowledge to do that. Most of us don't. Right? We're done for unless, we go back again, we turn our matters back to the ulama, to the Senads, right? The Senads, and return the understanding. Like, this confusion that happened in the last few weeks. You know how many people just got so confused? People been confused for the last 2 years with what's happening in Gaza.
Yeah.
Now people just got confused with this whole thing with Iran and all this stuff. A whole bunch of confusion happened. But also, there's something that excites me about this. It's kind of like the opposite. Now, what excites me is that we can leverage this technology at the same time to, look at the likes of Bukhari, a Muslim, and all the, Ibn Taymiyyah and others. Look at Albani, rahimahullah, dedicating their lives. Bila shak wala rayb, dedicating every waking moment. For what? To help preserve the truth. That's what it is. Right? Allah protects his religion, but he uses what? People are used as a means to do this. Bukhari, compiling Sahih Bukhari is a means, right? Albani going and finding all the hadith and studying the isnad and looking at what's sahih, what's weak, and this is a means. Now also, technologically, I believe there's an opportunity, and this is something that we want to work on. So I'm going to mention it right now. I'm going to ask all of you, what is your personal mission, right? And I really want to hear. So think about it. Your personal mission in one sentence, elevator pitch, so we can wrap up, okay? But we want to undertake a project, and anyone who listens to this, feel free to take it on, build it, and if you can join us and help us build it, marhaban bik. We can collaborate and build it. This thing that scares us so much, we spoke about this in length, and we've been thinking about it for weeks about what can we do about this. And I genuinely believe it's such a big undertaking that is as important as almost any other undertaking that was taken in this religion. That's my belief. I'm talking about in terms of, the books and the this and that, which is what? What? We know that there's fabricated narrations that people fabricated. Without these scholars sacrificing to find for us the Sahih versus the ones that's not, what has that done for us? It preserves our aqidah and our manhaj, our religion for us. So the same way now that the AI and technology is causing confusion already, it's going to cause confusion. It's helping wives find ways to trick their husbands. Lil-asaf waliyadhu billah, right? We need to build, this is what we want to undertake, is to build our own LLM.
Mhm.
Okay?
We are
Yes.
undertaking.
We are undertaking. We started,
Yes.
alhamdulillah. We started to build,
Mhm.
and this is what we're trying to do for the hackathon.
Mhm.
Right? So we
Yes.
try to build our own LLM, our own model, okay? Just like you have OpenAI, just like you have Gemini, you have, Anthropic, all these. We want to build one, but our focus is not what those guys are doing. It's what? It's to organize and centralize authentic Islamic knowledge. This is what we want to do. Whereas now we can take all the books in existence, bi'idhnillah azza wa jal, huge undertaking. But if Bukhari could travel all over the place to collect the narration here and the Ahmed, all these companions, all these great scholars could do that. What we're talking about is sitting behind a computer in a room with ACs,
Mhm.
huh?
For hours.
For hours and hack away. Albani could stand on a ladder
Mhm.
for hours on a ladder, going through books. What we're talking about is nothing, wallahi, compared to what these great, scholars
Easy enough.
on the top.
Mhm.
Now we're talking about taking all the work that they have done already and putting it into one centralized database. Now what happens is when confusion comes, when someone says, oh, the sheikh said this and this, you can throw it against the LLM, it'll tell you, no, Ibn Uthaymin never said that. First and foremost, you know why? Because that's not recorded from him. Secondly, if it's not recorded from him, you cannot claim he said it, right? Secondly, this is his manhaj right here. What you're saying 100% contradicts everything he taught for decades. You see what I'm saying? Now that
Even the
LLM,
hadith, right? The chain.
the hadith,
Yep.
everything. We're talking about the easier part here is bringing the Mus'haf and and the Kutub al-Sitta and these books in this LLM. That's the easy part.
Right.
But we're talking about now finds, manuscripts, books that the average person have no access. I'm talking about even some of the average, some of the Tulab al-Ilm don't have access to per se, right? Or it's like hard, like you have to be in the Islamic University Medina, library, the Prophet Sallam, and the Prophet Sallam's masjid, where you access these things. Imagine bringing all of that into one centralized place, where now the knowledge is centralized and it's accessible. Now, instead of using ChatGPT to ask for a fatwa, for those of you asking for fatwa on ChatGPT, now you can come and say, what is the ruling on such and such, and on this platform? The platform will not give you the fatwa. It will find you the fatwa from an alim. Because you don't return, you understand the difference?
Yeah.
You return the people to the scholars. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah has his majmu'ah.
From the source.
From the source.
Yep.
The Lajna in Saudi Arabia, how many fatwa they've issued? You can find that. Right? And if you ask something that the answer is not there, it will tell you, I don't have the answer to this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Right? And then you can either submit the question, it can be passed on to one of the mashayikh who can answer that and bring, because that's another issue that we have is access to the people of knowledge in this day and age. It's difficult. Isn't it not difficult? How do we, if I wanted to ask a question today to one of the ulama, how do I ask that question? Even if I speak the Arabic language fluently and I attend the durus, if you know. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's not like sitting with one of the mashayikh in Mauritania, you live in there. If you go to Masjid al-Nabawi and you want to ask a question, akhi, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
All right? So, ala kulli hal, this is what scares me and excites me the most. So I want to ask, and I'm going to start with Muhammad, if you don't mind. So what's your personal mission in one sentence, if you don't mind, in the elevator pitch, 30 seconds?
Well, our Andrews Institute is the simplest step-by-step Arabic program until you no longer need a translator to understand Islam. So it's directly connected to that, which is, and right now when I said you gave me an idea for content, because that's so true. Like at one point in a few years, if you don't have access to the books that has been there for decades, you will not know if it's true or not, and you're not going to be able to access it. And you can focus yourself on videos, you can focus yourself on audios, you cannot. So that's why for me, learning the Arabic language, at least for me, it was life changing. So that's why I think I made it that my mission. Even if I start other projects, for example, right now with Madrasa Online, I'm teaching other teachers so they can help me to go faster in the mission that I'm trying
Still
to
tied to that.
Yeah.
No.
Allahumma barik.
So that's the.
Wallah, this is one of the, by the way, just on this note it's one of the noblest missions, I believe. He knows. Spoke about building a platform before that we called, what was it called again? qamh, right? And part of it was about Arabic, right? And I genuinely believe, and I'm saying this to you, and I'm passing this to you. I don't know what's going to happen. This microphone's okay. I'm saying this to you, and you're doing this already. Alhamdulillah, you have Allahumma barak, waffaqak Allah. I believe that preserving the Arabic language and making it accessible is one of the greatest undertakings that anyone can take on. The Ummah, Sheikh Raslan, how many times you've seen, complain about how the Muslims don't speak the Arabic language. Even the Arabs have lost the Arabic language. Speak Fusha to in any of these countries, they look at you like you're crazy, right? And that's the language of the Quran, that's the language of the religion. So keep on, and anyone who can support what you're doing, at least go study with the man, at least go study with the program. And I know you give guarantees, Allahumma barik, so you have nothing to lose, Go study with Andalus Institute, bi'idhnillah.
Inshallah.
Shu'aib, what's your mission?
So I built the MENA region's first AI teaching assistant. So what we're doing is basically Duolingo for AI prompting. So schools, institutions, tuition centers could basically understand by calling our AI or even talking to it where every student is in terms of their engagement levels, their comprehension, and personalized learning pathways for that student. So we primarily having it for AI, so Duolingo for AI, right? Just easy drag and drop, everyday gamification, that kind of stuff. But we had a few contracts for so maths and STEM, basically STEM, coding as well. So that's my mission has started with teaching people how to code, career changers, all the way from 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, all the way to like 30 and 40-year-olds. Well, that's changed now. I want to start at the roots, at children's from 10 to 16.
Amazing, Akhi. This is so needed in the community. Many of us have lost the opportunity, even though I believe anyone can learn how to code, but many are not, believe they can't because of they're busy. And sometimes it's true. They're busy with certain things, they, health, whatever it may be, right? But your children, put your children, just like if I cannot memorize the Quran, for whatever reasons can I at least help my kids memorize?
And teachers don't know how to do it. And
if I cannot learn how to code,
can
I get my children to start early and learn how to code? Because you know what? Jeff Bezos, not Bezos, because he's not a code as far as I know, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, a whole lot of these people, the advantage is that they were learning how to code since they were little. Okay? That's the advantage they got, and Bill Gates and all these guys. Now they dominate the world. Okay?
Yep.
What's your personal mission, sir?
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned
besides
half of it already, right? So,
building a huge Muslim family.
So half of it is what you already mentioned about building an LLM for Islamic knowledge, right? This is personally, I don't think I could work on anything greater, right? Because you're talking about taking all the knowledge that ever existed, right? Authentic knowledge of Islam, and putting it in one place and making it accessible for everyone, Muslim and non-Muslim, So this is the mission, this is the life mission. But like I mentioned earlier, I also like to help Muslims get into tech. So the more Muslims I can get, inshallah, to start coding, it doesn't even need to be coding, just different technological, spaces, right? So I just want more Muslims to be involved with tech so that we could actually build our own stuff. Right, because we rely on the West for everything, and that shouldn't be the case, So
and now the Far East,
and now the Far East, exactly. Like for me,
we're in the middle.
Exactly. I look at India as one of those countries that, easy to make fun of, but they are making such advancements in many different categories of things that we won't be laughing soon. Like if we don't make the moves now to try to to compete, we're not going to be laughing soon, because their LLM they released might suck right now, might not work properly, might break and everything, but they will keep building, right? And they're building fighter jets just like the West have, right? They're building their own, they just launched their own, these big boats, military boats, the aircraft carriers. They built their own. What I'm saying is, the point is, they're literally following what the West has done for a long time, meaning relying on themselves. Because if you rely on other people, absolutely, if anything happens, they will cut you off, just like they did with Russia, with SWIFT, cut them off the banking industry, right? You understand? So I think it's high time we get off reliance, on the West, and build our own stuff in Bidnillah, and that will become easier the more Muslims we get into this field. So we hope, inshallah, that if not us, if not this old generation, we can have our children, inshallah ta'ala, making an impact on, getting into technology and making an impact on the world, bi'idhnillah.
Bi'idhnillah. And on that note,
Mm.
the children, because they're the next leaders, they're the next generation, they're the next, we soon enough, we're done for.
No.
Right? And they're the ones that's going to be in the best position
Mhm.
to help make the change that's needed. Okay.
No.
Wallah, this has been an exciting panel. It's been amazing. I wish we could, continue, but we can do more. Bi'idhnillah azza wa jal. I think it's important for anyone who's able to have these kind of discussions, not just for, alhamdulillah, what we're doing ourselves, but about the things that matter the most, for the ummah and, how we can all take action to move things forward. So, I will wrap up with this. We have a a tradition with the podcast that, we like to end by reminding everybody, that at the end of the day, everything that we're talking about is related to all these things is like rizq, if you wish, right? And we want rizq in this dunya and we want rizq in the hereafter, right?
Absolutely.
And there's a way to get that. There's only one way, truly, genuine way to get that haqiqatan, right? And that is by having taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal, by fearing Allah Azza wa Jal, by making everything that we do for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal and being mindful of Allah Azza wa Jal, right?
No.
And if we're struggling in seeking rizq in trials and tests and other things that we have in our lives, then Allah Azza wa Jal says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, wa may yattaqillaha yaj'al lahu makhraja." Whoever fears Allah Azza wa Jal, who's conscious of Him, has taqwa of Him, He will make a way out for them out of every situation, out of every difficulty. وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ, and He will provide for them their rizq from where they could never imagine. Right? And this is what we seek every single day. Right? Like when we ask the question about what we're working on, the truth is at the end of the day, all of us are first and foremost want to make sure that we pay our bills, take care of our families. That's just the truth. That's the rizq. Good companionship is rizq. And all these other things that we're talking about, right? So fear Allah Azza wa Jal. If we fear Allah, He will make a way out, provide for us from where we couldn't even imagine. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ, and whoever put their trust and reliance upon Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah will suffice them. And that's another point again. You're not going to succeed, especially as Muslims. We're not like the non-Muslims. At the end of the day, we have to go back to our religion if we want success. The acts for the others, sometimes the more they deviate, the more Allah gives them. The bala and the tests increase for them and the punishment increases, right? So we will stop with that. Jazakumullah khair, and I appreciate you, brothers.
I just wanted to mention one last thing real quick.
Sure.
I know we've mentioned quite a few names here, from Elon Musk to Jack Ma and all of that.
Yeah.
It does not mean we love these people. We don't love
Absolutely
them.
not.
We don't love them at all. We just see them as examples for what can be done.
Yes.
As far as being active and
Yes.
building for what you believe in,
That's a good
So
point. I know someone in the comments.
Yeah. So we're not, we love whom Allah loves.
Yeah.
We, but at the same time, you can learn from everybody.
You can learn
So
from
that's all it is.
100%.
We learned even from the shaitan.
Exactly.
And none of these people reach the level of the shaitan,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And on that note as well, I was sorry to add something because I have to have the last word. I'm joking. Stop for a moment. But I remember Steve Jobs saying that everything around you was built by people who are not better than you. This microphone, this phone, everything. They're not people who are better than you. The difference is that they had a vision, they had a mission, they had the goals, and they executed. They sacrificed. They were obsessed. Steve Jobs was obsessed. Elon Musk is obsessed. Right? And if you don't want us to mention Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Zuckerberg, all these people, then you will be better than those people. And then we can start mentioning, you can say Muhammad and Musa, Harun and Aisha, right? That's the challenge that we have. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.